Welcome back. Well, federal investigators say 4 people have been arrested and charged in a child smuggling ring that brought the minors from Mexico into the U.S. Authorities allege the smugglers would drug the children to make it easier to transport them across the border and more difficult for them to communicate. NewsNation correspondent Jorge Ventura live at the border in Texas tracking those details. Jorge.
Well, Natasha, this is a disturbing case revealing the dark realities of child smuggling here on the U.S.-Mexico border. Now, this child smuggling ring operating out of El Paso took a dark twist as smugglers would often drug children in Mexico who would then be brought across the border to the United States, all for profit. And take a look at these images here. Those right there were just a couple of the many unaccompanied migrant children that were smuggled across the border from Juarez, Mexico, to El Paso by 4 individuals who were part of a smuggling organization with the purpose of bringing children ages 5 to 13 years old across the border in a vehicle through a legal port of entry through a network of drivers recruited by the 4 defendants. Now, the drivers recruited for the smuggling operation were paid $900 per minor smuggled. The drivers would present U.S. documents to U.S. federal immigration agents, falsely claiming they were the parents of the children. Once in El Paso, the driver would meet with one of the defendants at a pickup location. Now, disturbing text messages between one of the defendants and a co-conspirator reveal how they would actually talk about the migrant children, almost referring to them like products. One of the texts saying, quote, "Young lady, are you working today? I have a boy 7 and 8. They are small." And defendant responding, "I have 2 little girls ages 4 and 5. And during a smuggling incident, the defendants gave migrant children gummy candies to sedate them. While in secondary inspection, that's when CBP officers discovered that one of the children was actually had to be taken to a local hospital and was diagnosed with marijuana poisoning. This is a tactic used by smugglers so the unaccompanied children aren't able to communicate with U.S. authorities."
When you see any child come across the border, or we come in contact with a child, we do want to make sure and verify that they're not abused, that they're not being sedated by any type of drugs that would actually, cause someone or an adult to victimize that child. That's always going to be a concern. That's one of our priorities anytime we come across a child along the border.
Now, the 4 defendants were charged with conspiracy to transport illegal aliens and to bring illegal aliens into the United States for profit. The feds do say this was part of Operation Take Back America, but a very, very disturbing case out of El Paso, Natasha.
Yeah, certainly. And Jorge, Texas authorities saying that they're also seeing cartels using teenagers to smuggle migrants over the border. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so I spoke with Texas DPS who say that alongside Border Patrol here on the Texas border, they've been able to crack down on illegal immigration. Those crossings are at record lows, but they say that that does force cartels and human smuggling organizations to adapt their tactics and often getting more desperate. Now, while this tactic isn't new, authorities say they're seeing a huge uptick of even more teenage smugglers from Mexico being used in smuggling operations by cartels. And right now, you're actually looking at a new video from this month where Texas DPS troopers pursued and arrested 2 human smugglers and 6 illegal immigrants who bailed from the vehicle after the driver led authorities on a high-speed chase and eventually crashed into several vehicles. What's shocking about this pursuit is that the driver was only 14 years old from Mexico.
Now, obviously, there's more consequences, and what we're seeing now is more juveniles, 14, 15-year-olds from Mexico that are crossing the border, that are bringing people across the border illegally, and then smuggling them into vehicles. And with that, you do have drivers. In this case, on Labor Day, we had a particular case where we did have a juvenile that was actually driving and led our state troopers in a high-speed chase. So that is something that's becoming more constant.
Now, troopers tell me that the good news is that no one was injured in the high-speed pursuit, but once again, it's highlighting the dangers that the border communities here are facing with more of these teenagers being used in these very dangerous smuggling operations here on the Texas border, Natasha.
I appreciate you bringing that to us. Jorge Ventura at Eagle Pass, Texas today. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.